Hello, friends. I hope this finds you well. So, it is the end of November, and I am filming my October favorites. So, that might give you a little bit of insight into how my life is going these days. But I'm kind of in the philosophy of go with the flow, roll with the punches, look on the bright side, trying to appreciate all the things that I do have, and I am quite fortunate. So, anyway, that's where I'm at. So, for October, so October was the start of a project that I am working on as part of the Mindful Tarot group, which is Esther Tishman. It is her channel, her handle. Mindful Tarot is her Instagram, her Facebook, and she, for the second year now, is doing this. I'm just calling it a project. I don't know what else to call it, called Drop 'em 78. And what this project entails is picking a deck to work with exclusively for the last 78 days of the year. And October 15th marks day one of 78 of the 78 last days of the year. And we did this last year for the first time. Last year I used the Gaian Tarot, and it just was really enjoyable. We pick a card a day. Esther directs us. We start with the Pentacles, then we go with the Wands, then the Cups, Swords, and then we finally, the last 22 days of the year are the Majors. So this year I spent the month of September kind of interviewing or working with 5 different decks to choose the deck that I wanted to work with for this year's Drop 'em 78. And I chose this deck, Next World Tarot by Christy C. Rode. And I'm really enjoying this deck. So I did a whole video on Drop 'em 78, so I'm not going to go into detail here. But like I said, as a group, everyone picks different decks. There are a couple people, I think there's 2 people using Marielle, several people using Tarot de Marseille decks. I'm not sure if there's any other duplicates, but there's way more people this year participating, which is great and not great. It's great because I love seeing so many more people participating, but it's hard to keep up because what we all do is we pull our cards and then we post on Esther's Mindful Tarot Facebook page. And how we do this is there's 3 Ds. And so you look at your card. So let me just take the Ace of Pentacles, because this was the card we started with on October 15th. So this is the Roots of Earth in the Next World Tarot. And so we would look at this and we would start with D1. And D1 is definition. So we would talk about sort of our historical or tarot study or long-standing understanding or definition of this card. And you would just discuss that in your post and in your journal for D1. And then D2, we would look at the card itself from the deck we're working with, and we would talk about the detail that stands out to us the most on the card. And of course, I can remember, even though it was 6 weeks ago, I can remember, of course, that the detail that stood out to me on this card was those crystals. So I talked a little bit about that. And then for D3, how I'm doing D3 is I'm describing or drawing down how I can work with the energy of this card in my day-to-day, everyday life. So that's basically what we've been doing. And as I said, we started on October 15th. So I'm just going to go through the cards for October. So I'm not sure. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this wonderful deck. I absolutely love it, and I'm really enjoying doing this deep dive with it. It's just, you know, it's a little bit post-apocalyptic, but when the name of it is The Next World, and I believe what Christie's doing with this deck is she's looking at the next world that we can create as we come together as a people. The folks who are the average Joes, us working people, not the 1%, and how can we create a world, the next world that works for us and not the 1%. So when you think of the deck in that way, it is a very positive and optimistic deck. It's like, okay, well, we've been through the fire and we've overthrown the patriarchal, colonial, capitalist 1%. And now what is this next world that we wish to create? So anyway, I'm enjoying that. You learn a lot just reading about other people's posts and seeing decks that I'm not familiar with that other people are deep diving into. So I've gotten a lot of insights. So I made the commitment to only work with one tarot deck from October 15th through December 31st. But I am kind of going outside of that with Oracle. So I got a couple of new Oracle decks in October. The first one is this one, Song of the Grandmothers. And this is by Cara Simons, and it's illustrated by Mari in the Sky, who is the creator of the Gentle Tarot. And I have not worked with it too much, but I have read the introduction of the guidebook. I don't like to just read the definition of each card. I have gone through a few and I have pulled a few. I did a deck interview, and just a couple days ago, I did a pull where I did 3 cards. The first card I got was the bumblebee. And this is Grandmother Bumblebee Completion. And at first I wasn't thinking that this would this didn't really speak to me so much. But then I looked it up in the guidebook. I also did a video on this deck, so I'm not going to say the ins and outs of the deck. So Grandmother Bumblebee zooms into your consciousness with a very specific message. It's time to move on. So this has kind of an 8 of Cups energy to it. But when I saw completion, it didn't really speak to me. But I'm kind of stuck in my life right now. And I'm stuck in I sort of feel like I'm living in an existential novel, like No Exit or Waiting for Godot or one of those lovely situations. And so, Grandmother Bumblebee's message, it's time to move on, is telling me, you can sit there and moan and groan and say, oh, I'm in an existential novel, or you can choose to really try to pick up the pieces and move on. You know, what is next for you. So I pulled a couple other cards just to kind of, you know, riff off of that one. And the next one I got was Grandmother Elephant, Community. And so for this one, I felt like, you know, I need to call on my community, my dear ones, to stand with me and to guide me and help me to move on. And then the third one I pulled was this one. Is that not gorgeous? Grandmother Raven, unknown. So what awaits me is the unknown. But I feel like that's a better option than being stuck in an existential novel. So the known right now is this stuckness. And so I need to move on, ask my community to help me, and just be willing to sort of take a step off the cliff, maybe a little bit of that fool energy, and step into the unknown, take a leap of faith. And see what's waiting out there for me. So that was a beautiful and lovely reading. And as I said, I haven't worked with this deck a lot, but I am looking forward to it. And it's lovely. I'm happy with it. And of course, I do love the Gentle Tarot, and I love Mari's artwork. And I just have to hold this card up again. Oh, it kind of goes with my shirt. So the other deck that I got in October, which I also did a little video about, is this one, the Herbal Astrology Oracle. And for those of you who, watch my videos, you know that I am an herbalist and I have an affinity for plants and working with the plant spirits. So again, I've kind of did a little bit of work with this deck, not a lot. And I did pull a card to work with for the month of October, Dandelion, Wounded Healer. And I am feeling kind of wounded. So I don't have any dandelion, and I don't even, usually, you know, certain times of the year it's all over my yard, but I don't, it's not, right now it's not growing in my yard. And I'm thinking what I would really like is the flower essence. So that is sort of what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a flower essence of the dandelion flower and work with that. And then one of the books I'm working with, a friend of mine, an online friend of mine, sent me this book. I guess she had it. I don't know, it looks brand new. I don't know if she had it and wasn't going to use it, or she just thought of me because, she knows I'm an herbalist, but it's called Herbal Rituals, and it's by Judith Berger. And it goes through not the wheel of the year, really, the months of the year. And it picks out an herb for each one of the months. And so for October, the herb was comfrey. And interestingly enough, the key word on here for comfrey is completion. So, there's a theme. So here we have, as I said, each chapter is for a month. It talks, she talks about the sort of the energy of the month and the time of year. And then she spends a few pages talking about the herb itself. She, as an herbalist, I love that she shows the Latin binomial. So for comfrey, it's Symphytum officinale. And it talks about, as I said, several pages of comfrey, and then how you can use it medicinally and magically. And then at the end, she comes up with a few recipes for the herb. And it's really lovely. So anyway, that's where I'm at for that book and that deck. Another book that I got in October that I have to say I've only just scratched the surface of is this one by Matt Aron, Mastering Magic. He wrote a really popular book called The Psychic Witch. So this is a course in spell casting. And I I don't know, it just kind of appealed to me, and I love working with spells, and I just thought, I think I'll take a look at this. So it's a course, so there's work to be done. This isn't just read the book and there you go. This is, I got to put in some work for this one. So I think that's something I'll be working on over the winter. So, where I've already touched on herbs a little bit, I've been having some difficulties with inflammation, my pain, really bad pain in my shoulders, and no one can quite figure out what it is. So I decided, this is a beautiful time of year to start working with the warming herbs. Here's the powder, the golden milk powder. This is from our company that I just kind of came across on, I think maybe Instagram, Earth Proof Elixirs. And this is my second jar. I've already gone through a first jar of it. So it's the golden milk, and it has the usual chai spices. So cinnamon, clove, ginger, cardamom, but it also has, of course, black pepper, because that activates the turmeric. It has turmeric and ashwagandha. So I've been using that. I've been mixing that in with half oat milk, half cow milk, and some honey, and drinking that once a day, a mug a day. And it is so lovely and so delicious. I'm enjoying that. And they talk about having this at night. And so I was doing that, but I don't know, it wasn't working for me. So I've actually been doing it mid-morning, like around 11 or so. I make my little cup of golden milk and sip on it. And I've really, really been enjoying it. It is delicious. And we'll see how that goes with the anti-inflammatory. This is vinegar that I made. I got the idea of it from Alice Jones. I'll put it in the notes, but she is an herbalist in the UK, and she shares so much information. She's a practicing herbalist. She calls herself a self-sufficient herbalist and has a book with that title. She believes in gathering, growing, and making as much of the medicine for her clients as she can, and I do too. I'm totally in on that same wavelength. So this is a immune stimulating vinegar that the base of it is nasturtium blossoms. So this is apple cider vinegar, but look at the color. All that beautiful pinkish reddish color comes from the nasturtium blossoms. And she made it with garlic cloves and black pepper. But I decided to use it with garlic and fresh ginger root. And the idea is you take a teaspoon of it a day throughout the months as the colds and flus and so forth, viruses start popping up, and it boosts your immune system. So I just strained that off yesterday. So today I'll take my first teaspoon of it. I'm probably going to mix it in with some water or some tea or something, because I'm thinking it's going to be, whoa, apple cider vinegar, nasturtium, ginger, garlic. It's going to be pretty potent. So those are the herbs I've been working with. And then for the crystal, I've been working with this beauty, and I just love this crystal. It's a heart healing, heart opening, heart warming, all the things that I really need right now. And I had a healing in September, the beginning of September, and it was a Reiki based kind of thing. And at the end, the person that the Reiki practitioner or the healer channels a message for you. And so she said to me, Liz, she said, I've never gotten a message like this before, but she said the entity or the guide that came in was named Rose Quartz. And she gave me this very long message from Rose Quartz. And so I immediately knew that it was this 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 rose quartz. I love rose quartz. I have a lot of rose quartz. I mean, it's all around me. I have, I mean, it's just all over. I have indoor, outdoor rose quartz. I love it. But this one, I got from Patrick at the Living Wheel. He does online live crystal sales over the course of the winter, and I got this last year. And I had no intention of getting another piece of rose quartz. As I said, I have so much of it. I don't need it. It's, enough is enough, but I guess not. Because when he showed this, like over the internet, I just was zinging and zanging and left and right. And I bought it. It was relatively inexpensive, and it's special. It's really special, and I'm going to be reuniting and reacquainting myself with it. I've been putting it on in my tarot room where I do my practice, and I've been putting it on the bedside table where I sleep. And anyway, I'm planning on working with this over the next few months to see where that goes. So that was my October practice. I hope you had a good October. In another couple of days, it'll be time to do my November favorites, but I'm going with better late than never. Please let me know some things that you were working with in October. I really love to interact with you in the comments. It's just pleasant to have a dialogue and to feel like we are in community with each other, an online community. So anyway, blessings for you all. I hope you are well. And I hope you are enjoying life in general. Peace.